Your belly is growing, you are worried about your baby, you are excited to meet your baby, you are trying to care for your household, all while feeling exhausted. Does this sound familiar, moms? Well, tonight I want to share 3 of my favorite pregnancy hacks. So, I found when I was pregnant, so I've been pregnant 3 times, that the best things were to be like, I mean, I'm a Virgo, so I'm a little bit of a preparer, anyways. But I found there was some things that I thought about ahead of time, and it really, really helped me throughout pregnancy and into my postpartum. So I wanted to share them with you today. So I'm going to share my top 3. And if any of them really resonate with you or you didn't think of them before, let me know in the comments. I'd love to chat about it. And if you want to know why, you can comment and we can expand on that. So let me start off by saying I'm Devin. I'm a yoga teacher and I'm a mom. I have 2 lovely children, and these are some things I did while I was pregnant with them. So the first thing, I know you've heard this before, meal prep so that you have freezer meals for when baby arrives. But my hack for this is not to have to be like cooking all day towards the end of your pregnancy. This is a really kind of easier way to do it. So I thought out some meals that were easy to have leftovers for. And I would make a big batch of that. And my husband and I, and when I was pregnant with my son, my daughter would have, enough for our one meal. And then all the leftovers, I would portion off and put in the freezer with a label. And I'm telling you, I did enough that we have like a stand-up freezer. It was like full of meals, and we didn't have to worry about cooking for so long after my son was born. Same with my daughter, but particularly with my son, I was like super on the ball with it. And yeah, like literally, it was probably 2.5 to 3 months before we had to worry about cooking. And, at that point, we were kind of in the swing of things. So, of course, some family members helped out and made us some food, family members or friends. And I think, if I remember correctly, some friends like bought us some food the first day we were home, and family members I think did that too. So shout out to them. That was really super helpful. But having those freezer meals was so key because my husband doesn't really know how to cook a whole lot of meals. So, he would do what he could, like spaghetti and meatballs sort of thing, but like with pre-made meatballs. But having those freezer meals was a game changer, and not having to like set aside days at the very end of my pregnancy to just be cooking all day. So like make big batches of food, and the leftovers, make them your freezer meals. That's like, I would recommend that to any pregnant woman. And my second hack slash tip is to get in on the electrolytes early. So when you are pregnant, it can be common to have restless leg syndrome. It can be common to get Charlie horses, all sorts of things like that, electrolytes help with so much. So the one that I really liked to do was coconut water. So I didn't really want to incorporate too much extra like sugary drinks into my life. So, and I really like coconut water, but that helped so much because when I was pregnant with my daughter, I would get Charlie horses a whole lot. And, like getting out of bed is when it would happen the most. And, you have to like move your leg, and it really hurts to do that, to like get the Charlie horse to go away. But once I started incorporating more electrolytes into my life, that went away, like completely went away for me. And I continued that into postpartum because electrolytes can really help with your lactation. So I know that I knew that I wanted to breastfeed and to the best of my ability. And luckily for me, I had no problem, and the electrolytes really helped with production. So I wasn't an overproducer, but I was certainly not an underproducer, and I was able to breastfeed my daughter until the week before she turned 2, and I'm still on my breastfeeding journey with my son, and he is 15 months. So electrolytes really, really help with that. So I would highly recommend that. And then this third tip may seem obvious since it's coming from me, but to do yoga / movement. But let me tell you why. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I didn't do practically any movement. So that was in 2021. Like 2020 to 2021, I was pregnant, and I didn't do movement because I was very anxious. I had a pregnancy before that where I ended up having a stillbirth at 29 weeks. So I was very anxious when I was pregnant with my daughter. I got pregnant with her pretty quickly after our loss, and I didn't get any reason as to what happened with the first pregnancy. So I was very worried, and I didn't really do any movement. And of course, 9 months of that, you get stiff, you get a little bit sore. Luckily, since I have been doing yoga for so long, I think that helped me a bit as like residual effects from having such a regular practice before getting pregnant with her. Luckily my labor and delivery were not that bad. It was I was induced at 37 weeks because the doctors wanted to make sure everything would be fine because they didn't know what happened the first time. And I was in labor start to finish 12 hours, and I only had to push for like 15 minutes, and my recovery was like pretty easy. I had like a very minor tear, and it was still like a little bit tough, and she was only 6 pounds 6 pounds 6 ounces when she was born. Then with my son, I had a lot more confidence. I felt great the whole pregnancy. I taught up until I was 38 weeks. I was sure he was going to come around then because my daughter was born at 37 weeks. And of course, like as if he would stay in much longer than that. But news to me, he didn't want to come out. So I was pregnant until 42 weeks and had to be induced because there was no indication that he was coming anytime soon. And I was induced again, and it was a lot quicker that time. It was like I was induced, I think, at 9 a.m. and I gave birth, I have it written down somewhere, but I think it was like 2:45. And so it was a lot quicker than with my daughter, and I had no tear, and I felt great. I felt like so great that they were able to send me home from the hospital like 2 hours after giving birth. We had to go back because he ended up getting jaundice, what I call super jaundice, because he had to be under the lights. He had to be under 3 lights for 5 days, and that was its own thing. But I felt great. I felt like completely normal. And I totally attribute that to the yoga practice that I got in for almost the entire pregnancy. So I felt okay after giving birth to my daughter, but I felt great after giving birth to my son, and he was 8 pounds 11 ounces. So he was way bigger than she was, but it was easier labor and delivery for me. So yeah, if you're pregnant and have been told that you're probably going to have a big baby, don't let that scare you, because my big baby was a really easy delivery. Yeah, but I think that's because of all the movement I got in. You know, if yoga's not your thing, whatever movement is your thing, try to keep it going as long as you can. You know, you might start feeling, I know the last like few weeks of my pregnancy, because I was sure he was gonna come so much earlier and he didn't, I felt like really agitated, and like any little twinge made me think I was going into labor. So that wasn't the like conditions for getting a good yoga practice in. But I'm glad that I did up until 38 weeks, because I felt great. So let me just recap that for you. My 3 hacks are to do your meal prep by doing big dinners, and the leftovers are your freezer meals. Get those electrolytes in. They're going to help you with the Charlie horses, and they're going to help you with milk after you give birth if you are hoping to breastfeed. And then the third hack is to do your yoga, get your movement in. And even, you know, you have those days where you're like, no, I don't want to. But if you just like, you know, at least try to get at least a little bit of movement in, your body's gonna thank you. And you know, anything you can do to feel good, especially in that 3rd trimester, do it. Even when your mind's telling you not to. I hope that was helpful. If so, hit like and subscribe, and you can see my helpful videos that I post every week. Or if you want to be a part of my mommy yoga community, you can come and join my Facebook group. I'll link the link in my description, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye for now.